Hey guys, Corey here. Today I wanted to go over an app that I made for the iOS and Android App Store called Tagg. I had a lot of fun making this app and I just wanted to dive into details about why I made it. I want to give a demo of the app and I want to go over the technical architecture, at least at a high level of how the app is constructed. So Tagg, Tagg, is a date-centric dating app that connects users who are looking for dates. What problem is Tagg actually trying to solve? Most digital dating conversations don't go anywhere. Very few people actually meet in person. So if you're using Tinder or Bumble or any of these popular dating apps in the market today, most of them allow you to swipe through potential matches until you find somebody that you like. When a mutual match is made, then you can talk, and if things go well, you can end up meeting in person and going from there. However, in reality, very few of these physical interactions actually happen. Most things die when users just start chatting. So my theory is that if users were to just meet physically, there could be a much better experience. And so if I'm able to just enable users to physically meet it more often, it could create a better experience for those users. So with Tagg, the way that we're going to solve this problem is they're going to have users commit to a date before they actually talk. And you'll see this in the app. It's basically a marketplace for finding dates. Now for the demo, I'm going to go over some of the things that users can actually do with Tagg. Obviously, they'll be able to view other users. They'll be able to filter users based on age, distance away, and following preference. So users are going to be able to follow other users and whatnot, and so you can change the filter to just view users that you're currently following or not following or both. Users will be able to follow other users, so they'll be able to get updates to their phone via push notifications. Anytime a user has an interaction, such as creating a new date or if they sent a message or whatnot, a user will be able to create a date. A user will then be able to choose a winner for that created date. A user will be able to chat with their match dates. So after they choose a winner, they'll be able to actually talk to that user. A user can go and bid on other dates that people have created. A user can change their profile info, such as their profile picture, where they work, what their education is, and some of their other profile pictures. A user will also be able to log in via Facebook, and a user will be able to log out. So now I'll just kind of go through the demo of each one of these. So Tagg is actually an app here on the right. And I considered some different UX, and I may end up changing this after I go live based on user feedback. But this is more or less what it is. So a user can view other users. This is the main screen that a user would see when they actually log in. It's got a list of users. The user can then scroll through and look at other potential users that are currently within the user's search criteria. This is also infinite scroll. So as the app scrolls, you can see that scroll bar actually goes up. That's because this app is dynamically loading in more users as users scroll down. So you see that scroll bar did just move up a little bit. And this is a mock environment, so it'll eventually run out. Yep, okay. So if a user sees another user that he likes or he or she likes, they can click follow if they want to follow their updates. The user can also click either on this picture or on this name to view a more detailed description of the user. So I give the name up here in the top. There's a series of photos that the user can click through and view just to get more indication of what the user looks like. Obviously there's more details down here. Name. This first line here is the education, and the second one is the work. Here on the bottom left, this gives the distance from how far away this user is from our app's user. Right here, they could change their following, whether they follow the user or not right here. If this Timothy is currently looking for a date, this link will be enabled. If he's not, you won't see this. The bottom part here is just a description. This is all random text using faker.js, so that's why it looks a little weird here with the wording. But don't worry about that. So if we want to look and see what Timothy's dates are, you can click here. But I'll get to that in a second. The second thing I want to go over is the filter users based on age, distance, and following preference. So if we go up to filter up here at the top right, a user can change some of the different following criteria. So I can, instead of searching for 50 meters, I can lower this down to like 15. This bottom thing here is the following preference. And so instead of doing both, I can just do following only or non-following only. I'm just going to stick with both for now. And then I can click done, and then it'll update this list. There's only one user here that's within 2 miles. I don't want that, so I'm going to increase this to 31, and then it'll load a few more in there. So next, you can follow other users. I showed this earlier, but you can click follow here, and then you can get updates from the user. So if Kathleen Kohler creates a new date, I'll get a push notification to my phone that'll tell me that Kathleen is currently looking for a date, and then I can go in and bid on that date. So number 4, I can create a new date. So in the app, if I come up here to new date, this opens up a modal that a user can come in and create a new date. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill out the time. So I'll say, well, how about on Friday, I'll make a date for, I don't 10:15. I'll then create a description. Just looking for someone to get drinks with. And they can click submit. And at that point, your date request has been created. Okay. I can go there. I can come in here, and I can see my date that was created. This one is just looking for someone to get drinks with. I do cut off the text for now. But this date doesn't have any bids right now. It's got 0 bids. However, there's a date that I had made before, and this date has 16 bids. So the next use case is choose the winner for the created date. So if I come into this date, I can see a list of users who have bid on this date in the past, and I can scroll through and I can look and see all the users that have bid on this date. So I can, if I wanted to, I could take a look at the user, get some more information on them, and scroll through here. I'll continue to do that, and eventually I would make an educated decision on who I would accept for this date, and then I would then click choose, which would then create a new match date. So after you choose a winner for a date, it creates a thing called a match date, which is what you see up here at the top. This is a horizontal scroll list of all the dates that I've matched with in the past. I can come in here and if you click on one of these, you can actually chat with the user. So I can come in here, I can send a message, hey, how are you? And this would send a message to Bria. If Bria has notifications set up, he would get a push notification informing him that there's a new message, and he could then open the app up and then respond or interact with however he or she pleases. Another thing with the chat, you can click up here if you want to open up the profile, and the profile is just the same as you saw in the other tabs. Another thing you can do is you can bid on other dates, and you may have seen this earlier. So anytime you see a little message under their profile, Kathleen Kohler is looking for a date, you can click here on the link, and it shows Kathleen Kohler's open dates with the date that they're looking for here on the left and description on the right. If you actually click on this date, it will open a more verbose screen up, and it'll show what date time they're looking to do this date at, and also a description of the date. Again, this text is all fake, coming from Faker.js, so it may not make any sense, but just imagine that it's, hey, I'm looking for a walk on the beach or what have you. So here, if I want to bid on this, I can put in a location. So I can put in like Harry's Pub, and I can just put in here, hey, I think you're interesting. Let's grab some drinks at Harry's. And then I can click submit, and then you get a little note here that says thank you for bidding on Kathleen Kohler's date. And when Kathleen actually looks at her bids, she would see mine, and hopefully she selects me. So I can change, number 8, I can change my profile info. So if I come into here, this is my actual profile here. I'm logged in as Gene Orn. I can come in here and I can edit info, and this allows me to edit my profile picture or any other pictures I have on my profile. I've got a little hint here. It says press 2 photos to search position the photos. So I can come in here and click this person and then click this person. It would actually switch my profile picture. You can press and hold a photo to upload a new photo. So if I were to come over to here, I could long press, and it pulls up this menu where you can take a new photo, choose from the library, or choose photo from Facebook. This is an emulator, so I'm not gonna be able to take a photo, but if you're on a real phone, you could. I can also edit my current information down here. This is controversial, but I am allowing the user to update their name. I may change this in the future. They can also change their age, which I'm not actually using at the moment. This one right here is their work. This one is their education. If I actually erase this, you can see it with low opacity what the field is. So same thing with this guy. So we've got the education and the work. This bottom one here is the description. I'll just erase this to show you the title, and then I can come in here and I can make a new, a new education, work, and description, which I'll do really quickly. And if I go back, after editing their profile, if I actually go back to this page, you can see some of this is updated. So it's got the new profile picture that I created, and it's got the new education that I made. You can also go into the settings and you can edit a lot of the stuff here. You can edit your filter criteria, such as the age preference, search distance, and following preference. You can also turn off notifications in here. And lastly, you can actually log out. So if I do that, it would actually log me out, and then I get back to this point. I have a login via Facebook option here. This just hooks up with the Facebook SDK. So this just says Manhattan Match wants to use Facebook.com to sign in. I haven't changed this to Tagg yet, but don't worry about that. I'll change that in the future. If I log in with Facebook, it opens up a little interface that I can come in here and log in. I can click continue. And there you go. So that's the app demo. From a technology architecture perspective, I just do want to run through a few things here because there is a lot to this. So on the client, you could use both Android or iOS. I've built this in React Native, so this does publish an app to both Android and iOS, so you could use either. From a server perspective, I ended up choosing Google Cloud Platform as my cloud vendor, and I'm also using the Firebase suite for a lot of the app ancillaries, such as push notifications, analytics gathering, and crash reporting. So for any information retrieval, I am using GraphQL. So I've got a Google Compute instance for prod and mock, and these essentially are hooking up to another Google Compute engine that hosts a Neo4j database, which is a graph database, which is something that is very useful for social applications. I've got both an instance for prod and mock, so that way I can have a production instance which users are actively using. At the same time, I can do my own development and come up with new features and enhancements in my mock environment without disrupting prod. I'm using Firestore to store my chat messages. Firestore is a hosted database that Google manages, so I'm only storing chat messages there. Everything else I'm storing in Neo4j, such as profile info, pictures, geolocation, etc. The only reason I'm not storing chat messages in Neo4j is because chat messages are dynamic and they can grow over time, and you can only store a limited amount of information in each Neo4j node. So I feel like the dynamic structure really would lend itself better to Firestore. There's a few things I'm using a serverless architecture for, and that's with image uploads and background geolocation. So when the user moves around, I am sending longitude and latitude information to my databases, just so I can track where the user is and what users are in their area. This works whether the app is in the foreground, background, or even closed. So with this, I'm actually sending this to a Firebase Cloud function, which will route the longitude and latitude information over to my Neo4j databases. I'm also doing the image uploads through Firebase Cloud function as well. So it more or less sends the image through a form to my actual cloud function, and the cloud function is actually then parsing it and storing it in Google Cloud storage, but a reference gets placed in the Neo4j database. Well, that's it for my app. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to put a note in the comments and if you have a recommendation, feel free to make a recommendation. So I hope you enjoyed this.